What is up? This is your buddy Alertwolf here to bring you another anime review. This time, it is on Dragon Ball Z Revival of F, the movie. That's right. Excuse me, Resurrection of F. American version. America. So, let me get right into this. I'm going to get into a review of this movie based on how good is it as a fan. Normally I do it when there's a movie of fandom. I do it as a fan, I do it as a moviegoer, but in this case, since it's an anime motion picture, I'm just going to do it as a fan. Alright, so let's get right in. The story plot. Warning. This video review is going to have a breakdown of the story, which means spoilers. So if you have not yet seen Battle of the Gods, Resurrection of F, please know that there's spoilers coming. I'm not gonna. I don't want to give away the whole film, but I'm just going to get into the story. So there's going to be spoilers. Maybe you want to check the very end of the video because I tend to repeat myself on the score, but this is how it's going to be for the time being. So basically, let's get right into it. This one starts off, if you read the manga, more or less the way the 4-part or 3-part, whatever it was, manga took off. So, Sorbet, Frieza's former henchman and now ruler of the Frieza Empire, has seen Frieza's forces dwindling to near nothing. And so basically he's like, we need the Dragon Balls to bring back Frieza. They can't find new Namek, so they're like, we're gonna have to risk going to Earth. They're like, well, the only one who knows how to find the Dragon Balls is Bulma, more or less, and she's affiliated with the Super Saiyans, so we can't go further around over there. And they're like, well, there's this other group, and hence Emperor Pilaf. So they go using Emperor Pilaf, and they basically they add another wish, right? Or no, they wish Frieza back. Now Frieza first is told that he can't be brought back because if he's brought back, basically Trunks blew him up into pieces and he can't bring him back because there's nothing left of him or of his body. This is like the weirdest Dragon Ball explanation ever for how to bring back a character. This first things first. It has never mattered how badly blown up you were. You could just be brought back, right? With the exception of the android. He couldn't bring him back because I guess he's a complicated machine. I've never understood the reasoning behind that. He could bring back the planet and everything on the planet and all the buildings and structures on the planet, including what's I don't know. The weird catches with the Dragon Balls never fully make sense to me. So he was saying if he brought Frieza back, Frieza's in pieces, they would just be living pieces, but he wouldn't bring it back like that. Sorbet was saying that they have the technology that they could literally regrow his body from the body parts in there. Now, here's what did make sense to me. I thought you couldn't be brought back if you died over a year ago. Like, it had to be within the year of the Dragon Ball. Was to stone or whatever. It had to be a year, I thought. So to bring Frieza back so many years later was the real issue. Not if Frieza was in pieces, because I'm pretty sure, they bring you back regardless of your shape. So they just constitute you a new body. So that one was a little weird to me. So whatever. And then they brought up the fact that Dende extended the power of the Dragon Balls they actually have 2 wishes. Now, I thought they got extended all the way to 3 wishes, but whatever. That's fine. And the fact that they didn't use both wishes last time, I don't know. Whatever. Let's just keep going with that. So they were gonna bring back Emperor Cold, but then one of Pilaf's gang, the canine dude, I forget his name, but he wishes for 1,000,000 zenny. And then later on, they're like, "Why didn't you wish for 100,000,000 zenny?" And they're like, "Oh, that's too much money." So there was some funny stuff to it. Jacko coming in was funny, warning them that Frieza's coming back. Here's the thing. Frieza says when he's reconstituted that, he's never trained and it's going to take him 4 months and he should be able to catch up to the Z Fighters, specifically Goku. Now, here's the thing. Let me be serious about Frieza for a second. I understand it's a movie, so in a movie setting, they just picked an arbitrary time period that Frieza would train to catch up to Goku. But let's be real about something. Goku kept training after he beat Frieza for the rest of his life, basically, for years and years and years. And they even make a crack on this in the movie. There really wouldn't be a way, even if you said, well, Frieza never trained. Well, that's great and all, but technically Trunks and Goten were kind of born Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? Like, so what does that mean? And shouldn't by that logic Trunks and Gohan or Goten be the strongest beings in the universe if they were literally they turned Super Saiyan without any training at all? It was just natural for them to be Super Saiyans when they were little boys. And granted, Gotenks can go Super Saiyan 3, but come on, that rationale is freaking stupid. But whatever. Let's just move on from that premise. We're gonna buy it for the purpose of this picture, and I like the concept of the villain having to train to take the heroes. Now, the heroes are training with Whis on Beerus' homeworld. They explained that Whis had to transport them there, and Whis has been bribing them with they've been bribing Whis with delicious foods, and they're training, and their costumes are a little different. And the costume's different for a couple of reasons. Since we know, I mean, I'm not giving it away, Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan is blue. They want to detract from the blue that's there, so they got rid of Goku's blue shirt. They did give him some blue, darker blue accessories to stand out, but they took that away. They changed Vegeta's base color to gray, so that when he goes blue, it doesn't detract. And the armor and the gi looks more heavy duty. Everything does look better, so I dig it. The Wii symbol, and basically this whole movie essentially is just like a sparring match between the Saiyans and Frieza. I guess you feel like these two movies, the purpose of them has been to train Goku and Vegeta to that next bar, hopefully to be addressed in Dragon Ball Super. But I digress. So whatever, they're training, and Bulma's panicking. She needs to get people to help. So we get Piccolo, we get Gohan. They make up an excuse for some reason. Oh, we don't want the boys there. They're taking a nap because, they may challenge Frieza directly. So the boys are taking a nap. So 2 Super Saiyans not going to fight. They're just going to they're napping, taking a nap. It's funny. Krillin convinces his wife not to go. She's like, well, I'm way stronger than you, so shouldn't I be the one to kick Frieza's ass? He's like, no, I want you to stay home with the baby and keep her safe. I'm gonna go old school. And she shaves his head, and he flies away. And then you hear from her, "Oh, Krillin's so cool!" And that's cute because that's his wife, and you ever wonder what she sees in him, and she thinks he's super cool. And I loved it. I love that scene. For me, Jock had made the movie, man. in the way that Jar Jar never could. Jockin was hilarious. He was like in the beginning fights of the main battle sequence. He just kept the story going, and he was very good. So here's what I did and didn't like. So Frieza arrives 6 months later with, and again, all these characters are amassing with an army of like 1,000 warriors, and he sends them at the Z Fighters. Now, Yamcha and Chaozu stayed home because Tien said it would be too violent for them. These are base level Frieza henchmen. Base level Frieza henchmen. The fact that anybody was sent home to chill is bullshit. The fact that they needed help was bullshit. The fact that they ate sensu beans like it was friggin' candy, bullshit. So there's a comment to Gohan, hey Gohan, why are you in a tracksuit? I couldn't find my gi. And I understand he just had his kid. But they're like, have you been keeping up with your martial arts? Oh, and by the way, right after they say that, Krillin and Master Roshi arrive. So Master Roshi's there, but whatever. Have you been keeping up with your martial arts? Nah, not really. I think I could still turn Super Saiyan. I think. It's been roughly a year and a half since Battle of the Gods, which is maybe 6 months since Majin Buu, right? So we're talking two and a half years since they fought Majin Buu. Again, a year and a half since Battle of the Gods. He went full Mystic in that Battle of the Gods, which is basically the equivalent of level 3 Super Saiyan, right? So you're telling me in a year and a half he went from Mystic to barely 1? Get the fuck out of here. Stop. I really hate, I understand that Gohan is no longer the focus, and I get it. But to take his powers and to shit him down to like, kind of 1, like 12-year-old Gohan would have kicked his ass, kind of pisses me off. Greatly. Like, especially since Gohan didn't train at all during the gap between Cell and Majin Buu, and all Gohan did was not improve. He just didn't improve. He was almost as strong as he was when he was a kid. He could still go 2, but his 2 was weak, right? He was a little bit weaker than he was when he was a kid. A little bit weaker. That was a huge gap of time. This is a very small gap of time, and Gohan is a pussy. He's a punk. I don't know what the hell happened to him. And that goes more for the other thing. Piccolo, right, never stopped training as far as I'm concerned, right? He never stopped training since the Cell games and Majin Buu and the whole whatever. Piccolo was stronger than a Super Saiyan, or he was as strong as the Super Saiyan 1 when he merged with Kami and fought Cell, right? Piccolo should be able to one-shot this entire group of 1,000 henchmen, but he's having trouble. And he fights one of the strongest henchmen they have, which was in the same league as Zarbon and Doria, and he was like having trouble with him. Are you fucking kidding me? He was having trouble with a henchman at the beginning of the fight, whose power level is not greater or anywhere near the Ginyu Force. Okay, and then Master Roshi was fighting. That made sense. Jockin was fighting and having trouble. That made sense. Even Tien fighting all these dudes and Krillin having some troubles against some of these dudes made no sense. So, to fighting the henchmen. Frieza in the movie makes a comment like, pretty sure Gohan should be able to take everybody in a few seconds. I understand he's fighting not to kill people, but... And that was before he knew Gohan could go Super Saiyan. Need I say more? You know it's bad when they address it in the film, like, that doesn't really make sense. Bad, we're gonna keep going. But whatever, I'm not downing on the film. I understand what they're doing. Also, for some reason, I think they briefly, one line explained it. Majin Buu is not around either. Majin Buu should easily be able to take Frieza. See, the thing that bothers me too is there's moments where everybody's concerned about the return of Frieza. Now, except for Bulma. Bulma didn't care at all. And there's some funny scenes there where she's calling Frieza out and whatnot. And they're like, Bulma, he's way powerful. He's much more powerful than I remember. And you see, that's the thing. If I heard Frieza was coming back and I was a Z fighter, I wouldn't be worried. Wouldn't even be concerned. As a matter of fact, in every other motion picture or special that Frieza comes back in, he always gets one shot like a little punk. Because Frieza's a punk ass bitch. So my point is, I wouldn't be concerned. Now, Frieza comes in, and then I can sense Frieza and realize he's OD when it comes to power, then I would be concerned. But, so the fight goes on, and finally Whis checks his messages and realizes Bulma wanted to talk to him, and Barris had just woken up too, and they realize that Frieza's about to destroy the world, and blah, 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 blah. Goku thinks it's too far to instant transmission. They power up, he instant transmissions with Vegeta, and the fight is on. Now, the fighting itself was pretty good. Seeing Frieza go final form right away, and then Goku didn't even go Super Saiyan and fought. And listen, guys, the idea is they're trying to show that the Super Saiyan power is weak as shit. And this new Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, which they never said in the movie, by the way. They just said this was like, the way it was explained in English when he goes Super Saiyan is that, or Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan is he once attained God status and remembered what it's like, and this is what came of accessing the remnants of God energy. And bam, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. And then you fight, and then the fight with Golden Frieza, and it's very good. And Frieza even has the upper hand until Goku and Vegeta, which crack up about. I mean, there was even a point where Vegeta and Goku started fighting because they were fighting for the right to battle Frieza. Although Frieza misinterprets this into thinking Vegeta wants to be on Frieza's side. So there's some funny shit there. But basically, this is all about the three characters and their weaknesses. So Frieza's weakness was he had just obtained gold status, and then he flew to fight, and he didn't know how to use it or regulate it properly, so he's burning through his Kai way too fast, and they're like, we're gonna house you, you should come back and we'll fight again. And that's Goku's mistake. He's a little too confident and cocky and too lenient in the battle. So basically the fighting goes on. Goku pretty much wins. He gets sucker punched by somebody and goes down. I'm not gonna give it away. Things look like it's no good. He tags in Vegeta. Vegeta fights and shows no mercy. Something goes wrong. I'm not gonna give away the end of the movie. Some shenanigans get pulled. Goku's, things get, Frieza, obviously Frieza loses, right? So Frieza gets defeated, and there's actually a bonus scene. If you watch to the end of the credits, there's a bonus scene. So now, what am I going to make of this? I personally thought the animation was incredible. I thought the story was really good, with the exception of the stuff that I hate. I'll take that back. I thought the story wasn't as great as I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. Revenge fight. There doesn't need to be much of a story. I just don't like. I mean, it turned out to be 6 months, but whatever. I don't like what they're alleging. Like it was just like the next Power Over when it's not. The other thing is, again, I've said it before. I don't like the fact that they're trying to make it seem like Super Saiyan is shit, basically. Like, oh, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, they're garbage. It starts over from Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. And that's what it is. It's trying to restructure the power scale so that now they're real Super Saiyans almost. But other than that, the fighting was great. The action, the balance between the action and the comedy was perfect for a Dragon Ball Z movie. There was a lot of comedy just peppered in with the action that broke it up very nicely. The pacing, the timing, all very good. Again, the animation was phenomenal. Everything was good. Hell for Frieza was awesome. So what am I going to give this movie? So I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. I'm not going to give it a 5 because of the negatives that you already heard. It is all that you were waiting for it to be, and I believed it lived up to the hype. So that's enough out of me. I've talked about this movie enough. Really enjoyed it. So click it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please, please, please subscribe if you can. And this is your buddy Alert Wolf signing out.